What's up, everybody? Oh, good time to tell you, if you want a mug, shoot $40 over on Venmo. Let me put it on the screen. We have mugs, and check out our merch. Here you go. Venmo, Cash App. My name, BrianEngelman, and on PayPal, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. We also have coasters. So these are $40 super chats, or if you do a super chat, just shoot me an email, Brian@thenewamericanmedia, with the address. These are 30. These are sets of 4 Ohio-made, wooden, engraved The Unhappy Hour sports show coasters. And there's also 4 in this. Look how thick they are, too. Wooden, Ohio-made, laser etched. We also have pins. So the pins are $25. Each set is $30. That includes shipping. So all 3 for $75. Just shoot me a Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. All that linked at the bottom of the screen here. And I can get those mailed out to you. If you want a mug, you can also do it through Super Chat. Just shoot me an email, Brian@thenewamericanmedia, what the Super Chat is going for. And mugs are in the New American Media. They're red, white. There's blue in there. There's some blue in there. But as I was drinking, I wanted to mention that. Folks, are you watching this Cleveland baseball team? Let's make sure both of these feeds are up. They appear to be up. Look at this. Indians. This is from the 2016 World Series. Who's that on the back? Trevor Bauer. A man railroaded by baseball, it seems. A man who was accused of things but was never found guilty and never found his career again. Wonder what that's all about. But let's get the program going. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer California, somewhere outside of the greater Cleveland area. My name is BrianEngelman. Today is Monday, September 29th, 2025. And this right here is, what's it called?
Hi, this is Eric Metcalf, and you're watching Unhappy Hour.
Thank you all so much for being here. The Cleveland Guardians. Oh my goodness, the Cleveland Guardians, people. Came from 15 and a half games back to win the division. It's almost unimaginable what they did. Don't miss out on this season. There's something special in Cleveland. Let's take a look at the standings. Whoop. Trying to find the right screen size to make that work. Did you see Brian Rocchio's 3-run home run in the bottom of the 10th after we fell down by 2 runs to the Rangers? It's giving you Francisco Lindor against the Yankees vibes. That video that often gets shared around, and it says, this is the loudest decibel mark in baseball history or something. It was when Lindor took the Yankees deep off the foul pole in right field at Jacobs Field, Progressive Field. This was almost, the crowd got really quiet. And the announcers sort of did too. And I think, not Tom Hamilton, but the other guy, it sounded like he thought it was going to go foul. And then when it clanked off the foul pole, pandemonium broke loose. We'd already clinched the division, but to win this in the last at bat, at home, heading into the playoffs, all the momentum in the world, what a rush. And don't you want to keep that going? Well, the Guardians get to, doggone it. And I'm super excited for them. I hope you link up with this team and learn about them now. Watch some highlights, learn some of the players. Brian Rocchio, I believe he came up in the Tribe farm system. You know, I admit this is a little different from the days of having superstars. I mean, yeah, Francisco Lindor. See, that was the link to Jose Ramirez. What we have right now is we have Steven Kwan, who's a very good player. We have Jose Ramirez, that's one of the best to ever play baseball. And it's weird that we've reached this point, but it's not, because he's been this consistently good. It's defense, it's the base paths, it's, going 30 home runs, 40 stolen bases. He's done it twice. He's the only person to ever do it twice. We're seeing things we've never seen before. And I sure hope this is the year that Jose Ramirez gets his championship, or his MVP rather. Yeah, there are other great players in the American League. That's obvious, but who was most valuable to their team when they were down 15 and a half games this year? Left is a laughing stock. Like, oh, well, I guess we'll see you next year. Let's trade away Shane Bieber for next to nothing. We didn't really get much back. I mean, we got one player back, but I don't think that player's pitched for us, and it's just a prospect. We'll see, but for Shane Bieber, a proven commodity, why would we lose that leadership? Well, I mean, we have great young arms, and that's what's led one of the most impressive winning streaks of all time. Anywhere. So live it up. Enjoy it. Amazing outcome. Cleveland Browns, on the other hand, drop another game. So we'll get to that as well. Let's maybe start off here with Major League Baseball. Where do I click? No, spring training. Okay, playoff bracket. Let's just jump to the playoff bracket. So here's what you need to know. We're going to need to win 3 series to get to the World Series. So we need to win 4 series. How many games is this a best of? Okay, it's not saying. Best of 3, it looks like. I remember they were doing the 1-game play-in. Oh, I hated that. That was not great. Let me double check on Grok. See, and this was also on the heels of the hit by pitch by, what was that, CJ Kafis? The hit by pitch that got the Guardians at least a tied. We won a game by on a hit by pitch. Like, it's Jose and a whole bunch of players who are getting things done all around the field, and definitely on the mound. It's a team effort, and we are replaying the movie Major League right now. We were so far behind, it's like we took a little piece of clothing off of the owner every day, and it's like, oh, well, if we can win every game, we can probably make our way back in it. And we barely did, and then we did, and then we got the division title, not just sliding in with a loss. I mean, an epic energy building moment for the city. Those fans, like, that's a jolt of that's a jolt of adrenaline for them. And that's what playoff baseball is all about. This is a fantastic story. It's the best story in sports right now. Get out and watch it, support it, learn about your players, watch some games. Maybe this is the year. Why not? Why not us? We won our division. We're as good as anyone else that won their division. Well, no, you're not. You know what? That's why you play the games. In football, they say any given Sunday. Well, all right. Let me double check with Grok. American League Wild Card Series, is it best of 3? I think that's what it's saying. I just want to quadruple check. Yes. So we got to win 2 games. Hosted by the higher seed at their home. Oh, all 3 potential games are hosted by the higher seed at their home ballpark? Oh, so there's no travel. Okay, yeah, it looks like it. Game 1, game 2, game 3 at Guardians, at Guardians, at Guardians. Oh my gosh, that's a huge incentive to winning that division as opposed to backing in as a wild card. That is okay. And they're on record. Tarek Skubal is on record saying, like, I played in a lot of incredible places, but there's nothing like Cleveland. Like, I got to say, Cleveland was it was the most incredible atmosphere I played in. We're going to get that again. All right, so 3 games at home. How about that? What's up, Trash Panda? What's up, David? People jumping in on chat. Yeah, we are getting ready for our TNAM Daily Show. You know what? While we're thinking about it, let me play the intro to my TNAM Daily Show, and then we'll dig into the rest of our sports here. I am trying to find the best way to do these 2 shows now. In addition to Strictly Football will be tomorrow at 6 p.m., I believe. It'll be episode 6 or 7. I'll have to double check with Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, and Ezrael Robinson. That's Strictly Football tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Let me double check on that. But yeah, we do our daily show in about 59 minutes, so I'm trying to squeeze the time in here. I got the regulars coming in from my other show, but they're jumping in here, and look, it's the baseball playoffs. Let me tell you about the whole rest of the league. So even if you're not a Tribe fan, you can get something out of this. So the Tigers play the Guardians, the 6 seed against the 3 seed, starting at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Why are they doing 1 p.m. games? I don't like that. All right. It's going to be Tarek Skubal versus Undecided. Tariq or Tarek? Tariq Skubal? Tarek? Let me make sure you can read this. Yes, you can. Okay. Yeah, Tribe have not figured out who they're going to put on the hill. The winner of Tigers Guardians will meet the Mariners. They were the number 2 seed, and they will get the bye. So they will host that. And that's going to be a what? That's going to be best of how many? I have to ask Grok. How many is the next series versus Mariners? They're okay, best of 5 series. And then I guess it's best of 7 after that. I like the best of 7. I mean, I get it. You got to kind of keep it rolling. You can't keep playing into February, but still. So the Mariners are waiting the winner of Tigers Guardians. Red Sox get that final spot. They bested the Astros. And they get the Yankees. So the Yankees are going to have 4 games in the Bronx, where I was last year. And they're going to get to play the Blue Jays, the team that bought Shane Bieber, the former Cy Young winner from the Cleveland Guardians at the trade deadline. I wonder if we regret that trade now. I don't know. You know what? Maybe without him gone and the young guns throwing it out there, maybe we don't make this run. Who knows? It's going to be impossible to second guess that in a negative way, would be my guess. David, John, what's up, everybody? Are you rooting for anybody in particular in the playoffs? The baseball playoffs. By the way, David and anybody else out there, John, of course, knows about this because John ordered these, the New American Media mugs. If you do a $40 super chat or $40 Venmo or donation somehow, just give me your address, Brian at the New American Media, and we will mail you one of these out, shipping included. So they're like $30, plus shipping. It's about $8, $9, $10. If anyone wants one, John hooked these up. Thank you, John. So the Blue Jays are waiting for the winner there of the Yankees and the Red Sox over in the National League. How about this? Cincinnati Reds got that final spot, and they're going to get to play the Dodgers 3 games in Los Angeles. That's great for Ellie De La Cruz and the Reds. That's making progress. That's a real good thing. Winner of Reds Dodgers will take on the Phillies. I mean, Dodgers are a very formidable team. This is a strange division here because the Mets, with a massive Dodger-like payroll, got bested by the tiny payroll Cincinnati Reds. I sure hope the Reds are able to re-sign Ellie De La Cruz, by the way. I like when the team that brought you there, dance with the girl that brought you. Dance with the guy that brought you. Something like that. You're trying to transform teams. It helps when you can get used to players, faces, jersey numbers, routines, personalities. That's really good for the game. It should be encouraged. maybe the free agent market could still be there, but maybe there should be a cap on what free agents can swoop in to offer. Where the home team would always get to add an extra year and pay you extra per year. I don't know. I know that there are always instances where smaller market teams are able to best their big spending opponents, but I want to see the superstars stay with their teams as long as possible. It's good for continuity of the fan base. It's good for the product. I understand capitalism, free agency, but when you really always have the best, most expensive free agents going to 6 or 8 teams every stinking year, it gets old. The competitive balance gets old. And I know these big contracts, they can backfire and they can hamstring teams. You can look all across every major sports league to see that. High risk, high reward, of course, but I like our chances a little bit better if we're spending as much as the biggest spenders. I know that's not entirely possible, but look, Jose Ramirez should win the MVP this season. You take Jose Ramirez off this team, I don't really know what we're looking at. He is the most valuable player to his team. And at some point, because he's been in the top 5 in most valuable player balloting for so many years, at some point you give Steve Nash an MVP. It's like a lifetime achievement award. All right, well, maybe this year LeBron James was better because let's face it, LeBron James was better than several MVP award winners during his tenure. There was something about, well, we can't give it to LeBron again. He's still just a kid. He'll have time for plenty of these. We should give it to some of these other guys. And he was penalized for that. And at the end of a career, you start matching up awards to Michael Jordan and going, well, he won this, he won that. And you go, well, yeah, LeBron got railroaded. Albert Bell got railroaded out of an MVP with Mo Vaughn. I mean, it wasn't even close, but the sports writers didn't care for him. So legacy is a strange thing, but look, Jose Ramirez, he turned down about $100 million from other teams to stay in Cleveland. He said, Cleveland is my house. I'm going to play you a couple clips here. Keep it moving, then we can touch on the Cleveland Browns. So anyway, Phillies, I hope Jose Ramirez gets all the votes for MVP this year. The most valuable player in baseball because he re-signed at a lower, he took about $100 million less. That makes him the most valuable because they allowed the team to invest in other areas. And he's the only player to do 30-40, 2 years in his career. I think I'm quoting that statistic right, but he's doing things that are just absolutely off the charts. He deserves it. You could give another one to Aaron Judge. You could give another, there's players that could earn it that are definitely worthy. But Jose's been, second in MVP, third in MVP, fourth in MVP, fifth in MVP. I think he's been second. This would be a great time to do a lifetime achievement because if you take Jose off this team, it's totally different. Anyway, the Phillies await the winner, as I was mentioning, of the Reds-Dodgers game. All right, over in the other side here, Padres and the Cubs. They're going to play 3 games, if necessary, in Chicago for the opportunity to play the number 1 seed Brewers. Playoffs, baby. Playoffs. So who are you rooting for? David, are you rooting for the Blue Jays because they're up there north of the border where they're trying to steal your guns? Or are you rooting for my Cleveland Guardians? Because, if I got to root for someone, why not root for that guy's favorite team? Granted, my favorite team are the Cleveland Indians. See, that's what's on this jersey. That's what's on this logo. That's who went to this World Series. That's who's on this hat. I sort of made a pact to not purchase Guardians gear because I don't agree with the cancel culture reasoning of it. I would like our team returned. All right, let's share this tab instead here. Let's go through both sports. Here is the player the coach who should be, I believe this would make him a 2-time manager of the year. I don't know how you could vote against him. Regardless, there have been other players who had great seasons. But this story was unique. No team has ever come from behind more than what we did. We set the brand new record, 15 and a half games out of first place, and we came back to win our division. It's the only time it's ever been done in Major League Baseball history. I think for that exceptional asterisk reason, This guy gets the managerial award again, but here he is talking to the team, the division champion, Cleveland Guardians.
Holy crap.
Holy crap is right.
With everything you guys have been through, you should.
The person behind the camera goes, holy crap, it's right. Holy crap, he's right. Derpy Entertainment. Hello. You know, man, rather it be the Indians Guardians name. I think Cleveland fans can all agree seeing World Series clinch means everything. Hey, look, I'm rocking my Tribe gear forever. Tribe till I die. Roll Tribe, all of that. Yeah, Cleveland baseball is just a special thing. We've had so many great teams in our lifetimes. Who was your favorite team, Derpy Entertainment? Who was your favorite Indians Guardians team? Do you have a favorite year? Was it 2016 in the World Series, Indians? This year with the Guardians, I don't know how old you are. Do you go back to Albert Bell, Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome, Kenny Lofton, Carlos Baerga, Omar Vizquel? Thome, Bell, Ramirez, Juan Gonzalez, Sandy Alomar, Roberto Alomar, Matt Williams, Paul Sorrento with like 38 home runs out of the number 9 slot or something ridiculous like that. There have been so many great teams. And you know what? How about this? How about Major League Baseball makes up for stealing from a work stoppage? They went on strike in 94. That 94 team had what it took to win the World Series. You know why? Because that team with that core went on to to go into the World Series against the Braves in 95. The year before we went to the World Series, we could have done back-to-back, and we could have got that experience and won a World Series then. So how about this team wins a World Series this year? Why not? If we couldn't get it in 94, why not let's get it in 2025? We've been through the lowest of the lows. Now, the lowest of the lows is probably the Cleveland Browns leaving our city, and that never happened to the Tribe, and we've definitely done our part to pack that stadium, especially when the Browns were out of town. We set that Major League Baseball attendance record. Derpy says, well, I was born in 96, but my favorite player was always, it says home, but I think you typed Thome, and it auto-incorrected you because he was a lefty first base until Josh, then they traded him. Yep, Thome, there you go. Oh, Tome's the best. How he'd point the bat. Ooh, didn't Robert Redford just pass away? Wasn't he the natural? Pointing the bat into the outfield? Watch the movie Major League. I love baseball. I love this time of year, and I have been so disappointed so many times with this team, just waiting for a championship I can call my own. Doggone it. Why not us? Why not this year? Let's go. Catch lightning in a bottle. Yeah, Tome's great. Anyway, Stephen Vogt, the manager, says, after all you've been through, and I like that he doesn't swear. I'm trying to dial back my cussing a little bit. Derpy says, honestly, 07 was my favorite, and then the Red Sox ruined everything. Yeah, I remember that. I remember watching we were up 3-1 in an ALCS, and all we had to do was go take it from the Rockies. That was very doable. We were much better. Who was that? Sabathia, but Cliff Lee was injured. Back-to-back Cy Young winners, and we trade him instead of re-sign him. And that's the thing. I don't like being the minor league system for the Yankees. I don't like having to get rid of all of our best players because you can't afford to re-sign them. Ramirez, Bell, Thome, Sabathia. It gets old. But yeah, 07. Jeez, we had that. We were up 3-1. We made blowing a 3-1 lead cool before the Warriors did it. And by the way, that would be a question of the day for you. Would you say that the Detroit Tigers blew this series? Or would you say more that the Cleveland Indians went and got it? Did Detroit blow it or did Cleveland earn it? If you got to pick one. I know Detroit had a slump, but you know what? We had a slump earlier in the year. It doesn't matter. We both had a long stretch where it didn't go well. We peaked at the right time, but I mean, we were neck and neck. Balance it out. It came down to tiebreaker points, essentially, a game or two. I'm not going to take anything away from the Tribe here by saying that the Tigers blew it. No, the Guardians had to go get it. We went and got it. We earned it. We came roaring back in a way that nobody's ever seen before. Don't take that away from us. Minimize that by Yeah, the Tigers blew it. I mean, they should have had. I'm not giving that credit away. Derpy says 07 was arguably the best pitching team, and that's why. I mean, well, compare that squad to this squad. Look at the last 2 months of ERA, the win-loss record, you know? Yeah, it's you just wish you could add some of that pitching rotation to 95, 94, 97, 99. We had so many good teams in the mid to late 90s. 2016, if Trevor Bauer, if he wasn't messing around with a drone and split it open where he's bleeding all over the place, maybe we win that series against the Cubs. Maybe if there's not a rain delay. I said that God himself urinated onto the city of Cleveland and ruined our momentum from Raji Davis's home run. I don't know why that had to happen. Then they change our team name. I'm like, I'm never going to get to celebrate a Cleveland Indians championship. I refuse to accept that. What universe am I in? What parallel dimension did I waft into with all of those greatest of all time caliber teams of the Cleveland Indians? I'll never see a championship in my life. So it's tough. It's tough for me with this name change thing because it's about more than political correctness and overcorrection and politicizing and capitalizing on just selling the team out for a pointless all-star game. Hey, we'll kick you a couple of million extra dollars. We'll book this at your stadium again. But come on, I really need you to change that team name. Are you okay with that? We'll even get Tom Hanks. He's part of the woke crew. Come on, he'll come in. He'll make the commercials. Like nobody will care. It's like we care because we grew up rooting for this team and we want to celebrate an Indians championship. I'm not changing my stance on this. I'm not going to get over it. I'm going to try to not dwell on it and just keep hammering every single day. The first thing out of my mouth, I'm going to try. And I have tried. You got to give me a little bit of credit for those who've been following what we do at the Unhappy Hour Sports Show for the past 14 years. I've been very critical of this and I've made thousands of hours of content about it. But that being said, I'm super excited. Yeah, you still say Ryan Merritt should have pitched one of those games for Kluber. Yeah. And that was the one, was Cliff Lee injured for that series? So it was Sabathia and Cliff Lee was out. He was on IR, DL, whatever they want to call it. They're even changing the names of that stuff. Major League Baseball has gotten really addicted to changing things. I don't like it. You're so conservative. Why not be conservative? Why are we changing? Oh, this is the wild card format. This is the wild card format. It's a 1-game play in. No, it's 3 games. No, it's 5 games. No, it's 7 games. Wait, we're going to do this. We're going to make the bag bigger. We're going to put a pitch clock on. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's baseball. Let baseball be baseball. Well, you can't say disabled list. That's offensive. We understand what disabled means. You're not able to do something. You are dissed from being able. That's not a slur. It's not a put down. You don't need to change it. Nothing wrong with the Indians. Indians had the first Indian player, Louis Sockalexis, and opposing teams and their sports writers like, oh, you're going into Cleveland to play those Indians? We're called the Cleveland Naps, named after Nap LaJoie, a player. So they're like, well, we named our team name after players. We got an Indian. They keep calling us the Indians. Call ourselves the Cleveland Indians. You got the Boston Braves. You got the Blackhawks. You got this. You got that. The Seminoles. Everybody's naming things after Indians. We'll be the Indians. Oh, and by the way, Ohio is a huge Native American Indian area. Rural Tuscarawas County, Cuyahoga County. They're all Indian tribe areas historically. And we broke the barrier. You know, listen to stand-up comedians and hip-hop culture today. Look what they did to a term that they found offensive. They took it and they started using it and go, no, we're gonna drain that word of its power. I actually don't agree with that at all. I wish they'd just retire it so nobody says it. That's not the world that we're living in, unfortunately. But the Indians were trailblazers. And the first Indian player, Louis Sockalexis, I think we had a second one as well. I don't recall his name. I apologize. We had Larry Doby. Most people don't even remember Larry Doby. He was the first black player in the American League on Cleveland. The Cleveland Indians had a black player. We're a trend-setting franchise. We hired the first black manager in the American League, Frank Robinson, in the 70s. This is what we do in Cleveland. It is a very progressive franchise. breaking down barriers, first black manager, first black player, first Indian player. And if anything, call us the Cleveland Tribe, because fine, our sensibilities may have changed over the years. This is the coolest logo in all of sports. We love this cartoon character. He's just a character. Relax. It doesn't need to be a thing. Bring him back. And if you want to call us the Tribe, it's a group of people in a community coming together and saying we are a tight-knit tribe of people. Then the word tribe comes from our lineage of Indians, and there's Indian tribes. Our nickname was the Tribe for a while. Continue on that. Just branching off and ending that franchise before we got a chance to celebrate an Indians championship. You're leaving us hanging. There's a phrase called blue balls in the sports world, where if you're playing racquetball, they have those blue balls. You can't get to game 7 extra innings twice. I believe that's the only 2 times that's happened in Major League Baseball history, or maybe only 2 of 3. I think I looked it up and there might have been others. You couldn't get closer to a championship than we did and not delivered it. The rain delay in 2016. Extra innings, 1997, off Charles Nagy. We had it. I interviewed John Telich on this program before, and he said, I was there. I was covering it in Miami. I watched them wheel the World Series trophy into the Indians' locker room. Then when we blew the lead and it went to extras, I watched them wheel it out. It was surreal. Everything was covered for champagne. They had to take down all the plastic. You don't get closer to celebrating with no payoff than that. So, yeah, maybe Ryan Merritt should have pitched one of those games for Kluber. Klubot. Yeah, we've been developing pitching. We need to get some of those mashers back. When we traded for Sandy Alomar. We traded for Kenny Lofton, but we got him. We identified it. We brought up Tomey. We brought up Man Ram. We brought up Joey Bell. I mean, just mashers. Derpy hates the pitching clock. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of whatever on it. It just it recalibrates. I don't know. I know. I don't know that it necessarily makes things better. Isn't what they say they're trying to get more viewers and they need the games to wrap up quicker? But it's like we go to baseball games not so that they're done. It's so that you can get away. You escape. You escape punching in and punching out the universe that wants every hour from us accounted for. And it's like, we don't want to do that. Yes, leave crap alone. Change this. Change that. Derpy, what's your name, sir? And are you a sir? I don't know. I'm guessing. Derpy Entertainment. Where are you located? And what is your name? We got Trash Panda there in Texas. That was your comment. I was switching it up there. Honestly, you and I have seen a lot of Indians Guardians baseball, but this team feels different. Just a gut feeling. In what way does it feel different? Trash Panda says, yes, Indians, period. Yes. It's legacy. I mean, he's the first Indian player. It's like the sports writers are making fun of us. They're like, yeah, we're going to own that. No, that's cool. Like, let's go. And you know what? Even if that isn't the accurate story, let's tell it as there are versions of it this way, versions of it this way, versions of it this way, versions of it this way. That was 100 years ago. I don't know. But we're going to take that history. We were nicknamed the Tribe. So we're going to revise our franchise. We're still the Indians, but we're going to be called the Tribe. We're going to make this it'll say Tribe on our jerseys. We'll still keep Wahoo, but maybe we'll work in a couple other things and maybe keep this as a turn back the clock hat when you go back to previous jerseys, because the Indians have incredible jerseys. Those 95, 97 script jerseys are fantastic. This one is so nice. Love it. Special thanks to Justin for this. Big shout out to you. Yeah. Cleveland will give you sports. Cleveland racquetballs. Cleveland sports racquetballs, that's for sure. Anyway, back to Coach Stephen Vogt here in the locker room, and I like that he's trying not to swear. I don't know if that comes natural, if he's decided to change that, but I'm trying to work on that as well. Here you go.
Get to party twice. Again, you get punched in the face, and every time we punch right back, we get up and we fight. Division freaking champs, boys, and we ain't done. Let's freaking
And we ain't done.
Holy crap.
Holy crap is right.
Every
Holy crap is right. I want to know who was recording. Who said that? Holy crap is right. Ay, ay, ay. That was awesome. 2025 Tribe reenacting the movie Major League. There's only one thing left to do. And what's that, everybody? Type it in the comments. There's only one thing left to do. What's that? Anyway, I will bounce over to X and give a couple of Guardians things, but I just want to address the Browns. Look, we're not getting anything done on offense. Let's go ahead and pivot to the Browns for a second here. There seems to be a growing consensus. It's just not happening with Flacco for whatever reason, and it's not entirely his fault. Our receivers are dropping passes. Our tackle play is terrible. But we can't just keep putting up 10 points a game and think that we're going to have a chance to win games. It's just not good enough. You got to, based on performance, you just have to change anyway. Could it get worse? Maybe it could. But if all of our other rookies are contributing right now, it's time. Let's see what else we got. Here, let's take a listen.
It's time, and I thought they should have started off playing some of the younger guys, right? You have two rookies, one you drafted in the third, one you drafted in the fifth. It's time. Joe Flacco came out in my class in 08. And Moose, we were both looking at the TV when he threw that interception on a throwaway and saying, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You've been in the league entirely too long to make mistakes like that. Kirby Joseph is literally playing center field. He's almost like a punt return. That's probably one of the easiest interceptions he's ever had. If you're a Browns fan, you're leaning on saying, we have a championship type defense or a really good defense. Why not see what these young guys have? Because we're going to be in a position with 2 first-round picks to potentially go get our guy next year if we don't have that current guy in the locker room. But the only way we can find that out, Moose, is if the young guys play. I think you have to roll Dylan Gabriel out there first just because that's how it was in preseason. He was the backup quarterback. He was efficient throughout preseason. Yes, I believe he only played in the one preseason game, but he looked really good.
Yeah, okay. So there's a few different points. Number one, let me ask the group. Please type in the comments. Do you agree or disagree that it's time to move on from Joe Flacco at quarterback for the Browns? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I agree. It is time to move on. They're just not getting it done. Judy and Fannin and just drop after drop after drop after drop. There's a lot of drops. And my comment was that the Browns, not all this can be blamed on Flacco by any stretch, but he would need to be playing near lights out to keep the rookies off the field. We have to see if they are gamers, and we need to find out immediately. You don't learn anything sitting on the bench. I like what Neon Dion said. Like, fine. You want to avoid the catastrophe of jumping in completely before you have any clue. You're totally not ready. Dylan Gabriel played like 5-6 years in college. He's ready. Drew Brees, his same size. Okay, well, is that who we have? Kyler Murray. Throw him in there. See, what can they do? You drafted him in the 5th round, play him, or 3rd round. We got him in the 3rd round. That's the one quarterback that you liked at that position. Maybe you liked Jackson Dart better, but you didn't want to expend that draft capital because you had too many holes to fill because the Deshaun Watson quarterback situation set you back so far that you've allowed other glaring problems into your team. Okay, if that's the case, fine. But I agree, it's time for a change. Now, do you make that person Shedeur Sanders or do you make it Dylan Gabriel? Dylan Gabriel was drafted 2 rounds higher. You go with Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel was a 5-year or 6-year starter at Oregon and other places. You go with him. He's got the pedigree. He played in the major programs. He's done it. He has way more experience under his belt than Shedeur Sanders. Now, maybe Shedeur Sanders with a little bit of coaching could be the better long-term option. Maybe better size, maybe better elusivity, maybe better, intangibles. We don't know. but you don't rush past the person that's most ready. Was more draft capital expended to get him. Of course, you go with Dylan Gabriel, I would say.
And his time going out there with the offense. So I roll him out. But I'm like you. If we have 14 games left or 13 games left, give them 6 and 7 games apiece, right? Now, again, if one quarterback goes out there and plays really well, you stay with the hot hand. But if he goes out there and struggles like most rookies do, why don't you see what the other rookie has as well? Because, again, with the draft capital you have, if you feel like you don't have the guy of the future in your locker room, you have that ammunition. Go get your guy next year. It's time.
Agreed. Trash Panda Marion both say move on. Time to move on to a different quarterback. And I don't blame it. You can't blame all these drops on Flacco, but just it's not happening for whatever reason.
But
here's another take on this. Time that we're done with Flacco again. Trey Wingo.
We're getting to the point of the Cleveland Browns season as we turn to October when you have to sort of realistically assess the situation. And realistically right now, the situation is pretty simple. Joe Flacco is not getting it done as a starting quarterback. So sooner rather than later, you're going to have to turn it over to the young guns. And that's Dylan Gabriel. It's not Shadur Sanders. And we'll see what happens going forward. But if they lose to Minnesota and then they're at Pittsburgh and they lose that one, you got a game with Miami coming up who's probably just as big of a mess, if not a bigger mess than you guys are in Cleveland. Then you have to think about turning the reins over and seeing what you can do. Joe was absolutely the right decision to start the season, but you have to give somebody the job for the right reason, and you have to take that job away for the right reason as well. And we might be getting to the point where it's time for them to take that job away from Joe Flacco and give it to the young guns in Cleveland, because pretty soon it's going to be, what the hell else do we have to do?
Yeah, that's sort of where we're at. It's time to see who the Browns' 2 rookies are. We can't get worse production than we've been getting. The other rookies have been contributing in big ways already, so let's see if the QBs can do it for the current time and for the future, is what I said there. Okay, Super Bowl. Bad Bunny is going to headline. Have you ever heard of Bad Bunny? Well, let me tell you a little bit about him. Just announced as the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. He's a massive Trump hater. Okay. This is according to Benny Johnson here. He's an anti-ICE activist. Great. Doesn't want to keep the country safe. That's wonderful. That's what you want. Why would you ever want to know who's hanging out in your kid's elementary school or their high school or their college? Who's indoctrinating them? Like, what kind of beliefs do they have, and what are they giving them a lot of? By the way, why even put locks on your doors? Just let anybody come and go as they please. Why would you ever care about protecting your family or your city, your neighborhood, or your country? How could you possibly be anti having a bouncer at the door of your nightclub? Everybody responsible would want that. No songs in English. There's no songs in English? He even canceled his entire U.S. tour for this reason. He said, effing ICE could be outside my concert, and it's something that we were talking about and very concerned about. I'm not sure if that's entirely true, but I'm just learning about Bad Bunny, and it was announced yesterday, so I wanted to mention it. Tell me what you think about Bad Bunny. Is any of that debunked? Is any of that confirmed? But there you go. This is the largest division deficit overcome in Major League Baseball history, 15 and a half games back to 0 games back. The Cleveland freaking Guardians. This meme is hilarious. Kramer, what's going on in there? Cleveland won the division, Jerry. It's the Kenny Rogers Roasters. Everything was red tint for some reason. And that's hilarious. It's a great meme. Yeah, so here's a list of the players in Major League Baseball history to go 30, 40 with 5+. I don't know. What do you say? B WAR in back-to-back seasons. Jose Ramirez, last year, this year, end of list. WAR is wins above replacement. I don't know what the B part is. 5+. What is it? Does it typed out? Yeah, okay, someone else. B WAR. I'm not familiar. So basically, regular WAR is wins above replacement. So basically, how many more wins does having Jose get you than if you just substitute an average third baseman in his place every game? It's kind of hard to judge it, though. So B WAR is just WAR that's calculated by Baseball Reference. And F WAR is WAR calculated by Fangraphs. Both of these websites use different tactics on how they measure WAR. I hope I made sense. It's very confusing. It took me like 3 years to figure it out myself. Yeah, you did a great job, and thank you for taking the time to explain not only WAR, but the different variations as well. I really appreciate it. Not gonna lie, you're the GOAT. Appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna reply here. Thanks for explaining this. We read this whole thread aloud on the Unhappy Hour Sports Show today. 092925. Okay. Wins above replacement calculated one particular way. Yeah, Jose Ramirez is special. Was this on Major League Baseball Network? He might be the best player on the field every field he steps on. Mark?
The third thing you take away from this game, who's the best player on the field? And he might be the best player on the field every field he steps on.
This guy.
He's just that good. Has the third highest F WAR among position players since 2020.
Every aspect of the game, it's things
I think the only reason we don't talk about him is because he doesn't fit the profile of what it looks like, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you see Shohei Ohtani and you see Aaron Judge. They look like statues on display in Las Vegas or something at Caesar's Palace. You know, they're tall. They look athletic. Jose is a little short. He's a little stocky, a little unconventional, but like he just gets it done.
Right? If he's standing at third base, 6'3", 225, ripped up, we're talking about him as one of the best players in the game. He is, period. Every number you go back to, he impacts their team. When
we are used to having many superstars on a team. He might be the only bona fide superstar. Maybe Stephen Kwan, but he even cools off. He gets hot. He gets average. And Kwan is great. Kwan is great. But, you know, ultimate top 5 MVP voting consistently, top 10 for basically his entire career once he settled in. That is Jose Ramirez, and this is generational talent. And because Jose re-signed where most Cleveland players don't, he's going to own most of the major records by the time he does wrap up his career. He's on trajectory to be, he's right at the top of team leaders of all time. Longevity and steady consistency.
Ever they need him defensively, base running. I know we talked about getting on the plate and pulling
he's as smart as Omar Vizquel was. Like really thinking out there, how to grab the extra bases, how to move the runners along, how to, you know, playing the like incredible defense. It's not just swinging the bat. And if you look, it's like, oh, he's only hitting 283. It's like, fine, he's not hitting 315, but this day and age, not a lot of players are anyway. In the 90s, a lot of players were. But yeah, wins above replacement, only behind Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, above Shohei Ohtani and Francisco Lindor. By the way, wouldn't it be nice if Francisco Lindor took a little bit less to stay here in Cleveland to play alongside Jose Ramirez? Wouldn't it be great if they stayed together? But Frankie said, I'd rather go get the bright lights of New York instead of stay in my home. No, this 100 million is super important because once you reach a few 100 million, you know, what's another couple 100 million between friends? I wish Frankie would have stayed, and I wonder if part of him wishes it too. Would he have traded it to be on all of these great teams while the Mets are missing the playoffs?
everything in the air. Well, yesterday when the chips were on the line, he had 2 strikes on him. He hits a backside double to get him back in the game.
Right? He'll finish third.
He is the definition of value.
Yeah.
Fangraphs WAR leaders amongst position players since
I hope he doesn't finish third. I hope he gets it this
the
year.
start of 2020. Judge, Soto, Ramirez, Ohtani, Lindor.
Yeah, that's
He's
great.
perfection in that clubhouse.
Yeah. And here he is, planting the American League champion flag. The American League Central Division champion flag.
And I guess there's only one thing left to do. What's that? Win the whole fucking thing.
There it is. That's Major League. Everybody.
The 1-2 pitch.
No, I can't show you that, but he crushes it. Here, just listen to it really quick. Hang on, I can't. It'll pick up the audio. I think I can play 3 seconds of audio.
Swung on and blasted.
We'll leave it at that. Francisco Lindor vibes when he blasted it off the Yankees and it hit the foul pole in right field. Just freaking incredible. Loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. So make sure you're following the Unhappy Hour in those places. on Instagram. And over here at the unhappy hour _ I probably need to put a new post here. I need to pin something new. Yep, here they are celebrating the the win. The American League Central Pennant. Ryan Rocchio. That's what you want to do with this crowd. Look at all the people here living in this moment. Give them those core memories. Because to somebody, this is going to be their favorite Indians team, their favorite Guardians team. And it's going to be based on moments like this where they were there with their family, the electricity coming down to the wire, final pitch. Live these moments up. Carmen and Lima. You know what? I would give you more, but I am going to have to set up my other show. Check it out. It's on our X feed at the unhappy hour _. There's good conversations to be had, and looking forward to the Tigers series. So we will be back. Let me wrap this show, and then we will launch the TNAM Daily Show for you. Thank you all for being here. If you guys, Trash Panda and Marion and David and Derpy, if Derpy wants to come over, but we're going to dump the trash on the table. That is the day's events. We're going to cover the news and see what's going on and talk about that on our next show. So while I do that, let me just say I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Peace out.